Now, when it came to what happened on Saturday night with the Cowboys and the penalties, a lot of people were having this takeaway that the team is still undisciplined. Now, with that, Mike McCarthy expressed his frustration with the penalties and stuff like that, but this could be an early warning sign, and again, it is still preseason, but we have to start wondering, with having 17 penalties, 9 in the first half, is this something we have to be concerned about, and what does this mean for Mike McCarthy moving forward? So before we dive into all that today, if you could do me a favor, first like the video. Doesn't take long to do. Helps it do better in the algorithm, so thank you for that. Subscribe if you are a part of the 55% watching that are not subscribed, so please make sure to do that before continuing on and hit that notification bell. So, Mike McCarthy, he's been frustrated with how the penalties have been coming along with the Cowboys, but the biggest thing is that with what we went through this offseason, whether it be himself, the front office, whatever, it really feels like the same old crap is still here. Now, what do I mean by that? The thing that irks the hell out of me is that we got embarrassed in the first round of the playoffs because we were undisciplined. Oh, we were scared. We were undisciplined. You name it. So this affected who you let go of, drafted, and added in free agency. You then elect in your training camps and mini camps and things like that to bring in officiating crews from the NFL to come and help officiate your practices, to help understand how to deal with the penalties, how to avoid the penalties, all that kind of stuff. The problem is that none of that showcased on Saturday night. Yes, I will say this, if you're thinking this, we are talking about a decent chunk of players that will probably not be on the roster. I get that. That's why I'm not looking at the full 17 penalties as a massive red flag. The red flag for me is, when you look at that first and second half, where you have 9 penalties, and one of them was one of the reasons why you ended up having a situation where your team gave up points. They gave up a field goal. Brandon McManus misses a wide field goal. Kelvin Joseph causes an offsides penalty. As a result, that leads to 3 points. On top of that, you did have a Dante Fowler penalty, which actually got him benched for the rest of the game, where he had unnecessary roughness, and it was going to be a third down and goal like situation. Denver probably goes for it, but again, these are situations that, and again, I'm not talking about players that are not going to be on the team. Kelvin Joseph is probably going to be on the team. Dante Fowler is probably going to be on the team. Sam Williams is probably going to be on the team, even though his hit and that roughing the passer call was a bit BS in my personal opinion. Many people were also touching up on Tyler Smith and his 2 penalties. I went back. It was kind of like one of those situations like we've been talking about with Tyron Smith, where like he will overpower a player and they just throw a flag for some reason. So there's no issues there. And again, I understand that that's something where penalties can be overlooked. Like, I don't care about penalties past the point where a good chunk of your starters are playing. Or even your backups, right? And we'll talk about some of these other guys as we move forward because a lot of needles have been moving. But this kind of falls back on Mike McCarthy because, listen, man, I get it that it's not easy to run a whole football program, but you elected, not the front office, this is on Mike, and, I'm giving him a fair rap for this year. Unless we just hit a wall and we just fly off the edge. If Mike wants to improve the team's discipline, and he's doing all these things, and it's not working, maybe you have to reevaluate how things are going. I can't answer what we should or should not do. I think that benching a player because of, that kind of stuff right there, okay, whatever, I don't really care. But it's the other things that they need to get under wrap, right? And that's what's going to bother me is like if we go into this season, let's just say we go into the third preseason game, and yes, the refs are flag happy during preseason. If anybody watches preseason football, you should know that refs tend to be flag happy the most during that period of time. However, if we consistently go through with the starters or backups, not talking about the third and fourth stringers, your starters and backups, and we're still having the same issue, that's when I'm sitting down and having a conversation with Mike McCarthy saying, hey, listen, I don't know what you're doing. I'm going to have to ask you to get your act together because I have a very short leash on you. And that's why I think Mike McCarthy is also under this hot seat, is because if the culture in Dallas isn't going to change, remember what we've always talked about? Okay, the team isn't disciplined, or the team is not playing hard, or the team's soft. We've said that how many years going on now? And when I have to go onto Twitter and see an argument of who's a tougher coach, Jason Garrett or Mike McCarthy, when Mike McCarthy, with the background that he has, that's a big, big problem there. And again, we're going off of one game's worth of footage, hence why I'm not all acting crazy. But that doesn't mean that the Dallas Cowboys can't be more observant and also do their due diligence to get this ship on the right track. But of course, the Jones boys are facilitating this corporate culture that I've always talked about, and that's going to be what's, holding back this team. So it's on Mike McCarthy to fix this whole situation, because you really can't afford to be in these types of instances where you're getting penalties, when you have a big play. And I don't know what to say other than, we know how the refs are in this day and age, regardless of team. I understand that the Cowboys tend to get a bit more of the short end of the stick if you go and look, but that doesn't give an excuse for the players to not do their part. So Mike McCarthy has a lot of eyeballs on him, and that's what we're going to be keeping an eye out on as we move forward through this preseason. Now, before we wrap up, thank you first off for reaching the end of this video. You're a real MVP for that. Before you go, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and hit that notification bell. If not, make sure to do that down in the description box. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram to get more of this type of content right here. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Alright guys, have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.